Yo, what's up guys, you're back with TechNick, and today we have a speed test between the Realme X2 Pro and the Realme X55G. Both the same brand, but very different specs. The X2 Pro comes with the latest Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip, which is the beefiest until the 865 comes out later on this month or next month. And the Realme X55G comes paired with a Snapdragon 765G processing chip, also run on 7nm technology here, though this is the latest mid-range chip from Qualcomm. They both have 8 gigs of RAM, and the Realme X55G comes paired with Android 10 out the box, and the X2 Pro is yet to be updated, so still running on Android 9. Both of them do have high performance mode on, and both of them have high refresh rate panels, though the X55G has a 120Hz panel as opposed to the 90Hz on the X2 Pro. It is limited to certain apps. We have also disabled all animations under developer options over here to keep things accurate, and we are going to be using my little fingers over here, so to keep things accurate as well, we're going to be using GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner, so keep your eye out for that. Guys, this is TechNick. I cannot wait to see what happens here, and let's go. Okay guys, so those of you new to the channel, we're going to start with round 1 over here, which consists of a boot, an app refresh, and the boot goes to the X2 Pro 14 seconds as opposed to 21 seconds on the X55G. Now, refreshing apps when first going into the phone, the X2 Pro takes that as well. And we're going to test out fingerprints. We have an optical one under the X2 Pro screen. We have a physical one on the side of the X55G. X55G unlocks faster the first 2 times, and we're going to go for the 3rd time to give it allocated a point over there. And it was pretty similar at the end in the last round over there, but best 2 out of 3 for the X50, so it gets the point there. When it comes to face unlock, both are pretty similar, though the X2 Pro definitely, when slowing down the clip a lot, gets the point over there. Moving on to round 2, we're going to go from camera to PUBG, and then PUBG back up to camera for round 3. Now guys, I'm going to change my points allocation system here. A lot of you guys have commented previously saying that it is a bit silly giving points for tied rounds, and if it is so similar, no one should get a point. Well, I am going to do exactly that. So for those of you who do follow me and watch every single one of my speed tests, please let me know what you guys think of this, because you haven't really said much when it comes to this. Pretty much new viewers have mentioned this before, and as you can see, I've only allocated the points where it matters. So either it is an obvious site where the one opened the app quicker than the other, such as this, where the X55G opened up speed test quicker, the internet speed test over here, or it is opening it up maybe 1 second quicker than the other one. So keep that in mind. I also take into consideration the GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner when plugging my fingers onto the screen. Now we're going to go ahead and do an internet speed test over here on the X2 Pro first. It got 28 seconds to finish, but it got 89.7 download speed over there, and the Realme X55G got just 71.5, but the same time to run the test, so the X2 Pro gets it based on download speed there. We're going to open up Spotify over here. There is an obvious one. You guys could clearly see the X2 Pro open that app up quicker, and going up into Adobe Photoshop Express over here, you could clearly see X2 Pro open that up quicker again and went into the photo quicker as well over here. You can also see the photo looks slightly better on the X2 Pro. Guys, bear in mind that these phones are actually very similarly priced. I would say that the X2 Pro is maybe $40 more expensive than the X55G. So if you must have 5G, go for the X50, I guess. But if you want that wonderful AMOLED screen and the 90Hz panel that works with every single app, then definitely go for the X2 Pro, I would say. So far, the X2 Pro is smashing it in this test with 8 points as opposed to 3 points on the X55G. But when exporting a clip in Adobe Premiere Clip over here, we're going to go all the way to the end, and even though we only have UFS 2.1 storage on the X55G, it finished the clip in 20 seconds as opposed to 28 seconds with UFS 3.0 storage on the X2 Pro. Very strange there. And yes guys, the X2 Pro does have UFS 3.0 storage, only the 128 gig does. So if you get the 64 gig slot version, that will not have UFS 3.0 storage, it will have UFS 2.1, just like the X55G. But as you guys saw over here, it didn't really make much of a difference, and the X50 actually did a better job. Really strange over there. And the X50 actually opened up Instagram quick over there, pulling it just to 4 points between the two in round 2. Now 5 points because the X2 Pro snatched that point going into Twitter over here. And you guys can see that there are obvious leads from the X2 Pro when opening up apps. It is not as close as most of my tests are when pairing it with similar chips or the exact same chips, such as the 855 against the 855 or the Plus versus the regular as well. Things are very similar over there, but over here we're using a mid-range chip, the latest mid-range chip, against almost a past flagship chip, the 855 Plus, since it is soon to be replaced by the 865. I will try to get that on my channel as soon as I can, plug it into my speed tests against the X2 Pro. I'm really interested to see how that one goes. Opening up a video on YouTube, the X55G snatches that, so just 4 points between the two again in round 2 over here. I also have a countdown timer at the bottom right hand corner for those of you who are new to the channel, and I will also plug into the description the different parts in the video so you can skip ahead by one little click to the next round or even to the results at the end of the video. Gonna do round 2 over here, then round 3, and then we'll hit results and then conclude the video. Now we're going into some games over here. So Subway Surfers opening up definitely slightly quicker on the X2 Pro, snags a point over there, making it 6 points of a lead in round 2. And remember, we had that 2-point lead in round 1. So the X2 Pro is definitely doing better here. But guys, not by so much, I must say. The screen on the X50 bear in mind, this is an LCD, an IPS LCD screen, and on the X2 Pro we have an AMOLED screen. You can't see too much of a difference over here. They are both on peak brightness, but when you do see white panels, the X2 Pro definitely looks bright, and when you see black panels, the X55G has like a grayish look, where the X2 Pro, because of that wonderful, gorgeous AMOLED display, we have very deep blacks. So I would definitely recommend going for the X2 Pro if you are deciding to go for the 2 and you don't really care much for 5G. But I'm pretty sure we'll have an upgrade to the X2 Pro, maybe even an X3 Pro this year, and that will most likely have 5G and the latest 865 chip. But the first phone that we're going to see with an 865 is probably going to be the new Xiaomi, the Xiaomi Mi 10. So many different names, but that is their flagship of the year. Opening up PUBG, we got 3 seconds quicker on the X2 Pro. Not a major difference over here, guys. So both of the phones can easily open up apps pretty snappy. If you want the absolute fastest, I would definitely say the X2 Pro. The Oppo Reno Ace has done really well. If you guys saw my last video, it actually beat the X2 Pro, but I did not do the scoring as I am doing over here. Maybe I'd have to redo that test to have a look to see if the scoring makes much of a difference, but it shouldn't, because in my previous tests, I just gave a tied point. They each got given an allocated point when it was a tie, where over here, I'm just not allocating a point at all. And if it is really close, then I take it as a tie this time around, because honestly, what your eyes cannot see, you know, your fingers don't feel. So we're going into round 3 here. Well, we've been in it for a while over here, going back through the games, and the X2 Pro has snagged every single point over here. Some of them have been even though, remember that, guys, so no points were allocated. And going into Instagram here, still nothing very similar between them. Going into Facebook though, we have the X2 Pro opening and loading it slightly quicker. Going into Astral VPN, since we need a VPN here in China, turning it off goes to the X55G, but both of them open them up relatively similarly. Now we're going into the X2 Pro over here. When opening up Adobe Clip and Photoshop Express seems to be closed, but it goes to resume the photo that you were in, and the X2 Pro snagged that one too. Opening up Spotify was a bit of a toss-up over here. They didn't really quite load as well as I wanted them to, but they both opened up pretty similarly if you ask me, guys. So we're going to go into speed test over here before we hit our last row of apps in round 3 and get to those results. The X2 Pro opened up the internet speed test quick over there. Settings was pretty much neck and neck. Going into phone is going to be neck and neck again. You're not going to see much difference when it comes to system apps, because it is pretty integrated and very well optimized within the Android software and the hardware of the Realme devices. Going into photos though, the X55G surprisingly opens it up quicker, and camera, the X55G loads quicker too. All of the little icons around the camera as well loaded a lot faster than the X2 Pro. Very surprising there. As for the results, guys, we have a total of 26 points for the X2 Pro and 12 points for the X55G. I'm not surprised by this, though the 5G did kind of impress me a little bit when it did snag a point from the X2 Pro here and there. Nevertheless, the X2 Pro is still my favorite Realme device, and I'm sure it is yours too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this test as much as I did making it, and until next time, this is TechNick.